One of the most important things that niggas need to do is put reality in a proper perspective. You know what I'm saying? Put reality. If you're gonna change your reality, you need to know the reality that you living in. So I don't like right now, I think niggas think this is a G-rated movie. I don't know why. Like I think niggas think life is a movie and they can agree to that, but they think it's a G-rated movie. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why. Because everything that was going on, everything that they claim to have participated in or what's been going on, when you even exclude our story and what we're going through. Like before this in our story, like if the story of life that we've been getting in school was like a TV show, and we're like season 7 or season 6, right? 1492 when they supposedly came and grabbed us, all this made up shit. Um, when they supposedly came and grabbed everyone and all of that. What I'm trying to say is before the slavery stories, you getting stories of like the Crusades, you know what I'm saying? All right, so maybe the purpose of this video will just be me trying to paint a better picture of what these times was like. For this, it was like the Crusades and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Like niggas pulling up on you like, yo, you down with Allah? No? Okay, cutting the nigga's head off and then keeping it pushing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't I don't know because people be saying stuff like, yo, I can't believe it's not safe nowadays. And I be confused. Because I'm like, yo, yo, this shit is not funny. This shit is not funny. Yo, this is not funny, but I'm laughing, but it's not funny. Like, I don't know why people are so confused when they see certain things. Because it's like, are you not keeping up with what's been going on? Like, niggas be like, nowadays, I don't be understanding. The only thing that's going on that's different is we, for some reason, are a generation who just woke up. Like, niggas be talking about waking up, and it's always like, they trying to get out the matrix, whatever. But the matrix is a multi-layered concept. It's like you could be living in mad illusions, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like we don't even have reality in the right perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, our parents think they grew up poor, and I'm not saying that they was living like kings, but I don't know if that was really true. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of our parents think they didn't grow up well because they didn't have clothes and shit. But remember, if you're identifying as an indigenous person, like, a royal outfit in some people's country, like, just be like feathers and thorns and shit. And we think that in our ignorance, not knowing nothing, that is like some poor people shit, when we don't understand that those leaves, those twigs, those stones, even if it's just quote unquote as primitive of that, like, those things probably have a super duper spiritual significance, and what they're giving to that person is the equivalent of getting like some Cardis or getting like some $10,000 ring. You know what I'm saying? It's just their culture. The only thing that's different is that we value ourselves more than some previous generations, and we still don't value ourselves enough. But the goal of these type of videos is for you to start value yourself a little more by looking at these things as crazy. You don't value yourself enough, and it's hard not to because of these poor experiences that have happened that you don't realize are negative experiences, because we think that is normal, because we don't have a proper grip on the reality that we live in. You know what I'm saying? We don't understand how reality is supposed to be. It's like if we in a video game and somebody hacked this shit. Like, we was living a certain way and somebody just came and switched it up on us or something. They caught us slipping. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's the best way I can kind of put it. I don't know. So all these things, like, refer to the video that's called like Why is the Baby in the 112 video. All these things that we are doing, have been doing, are insane. Some of them are not that insane as well, which is crazy. But you, a nigga will come up to you and be like, yo, can you believe what they're doing with those like kids in Somalia and turn them into pirates? And I'm like, would you believe that Little Mouse is making a Get Smoked video? Like, would you believe that that's the same shit? It's like niggas don't see it that way because we just think it's normal. That's what I'm saying. We can recognize that the Somalian kid and having an M16 is insane. But when Chief Keef is doing it, we think that's normal. You know what I'm saying? Or like, is that making sense? Like, sometimes these things might be hard to accept because you might have been one of those people. And then the reason why it's hard to accept, because it's like, yo, you start to feel like, why wasn't anybody, if someone was supposed to be taking care of me, why wasn't they? You know what I'm saying? Why wasn't nobody looking out for me? Why wasn't anybody saying like, yo, don't do this or don't do that? Like, why was people pushing this on me? You know, because the only question is, where do they get it from? You know what I'm saying? We can recognize that in the Somalian, but you can't recognize it with the nigga down the street. Like the nigga on Instagram, you think that shit is normal? Yeah. So when we be saying shit, when we see stuff now, like we see people get kidnapped, we see people come forward with, you know, saying that they've been abused and stuff like that, you know, and people rally behind them, even blindly. Like niggas do it all the time with celebrities. They rally behind them blindly. They don't even know the full story and stuff. Use it as an example. Like people do it for people locally. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot more, especially the women. I feel like the women from around the time I was going to college, like I started college in like 2014. So if people was going around that time, those girls, like all the way down to now, anyone who's still going, they was definitely on some like, you know, looking out for each other type shit. When I was growing up, I don't mean to laugh, but when I was growing up and shit like that was happening, like assault cases and stuff like that, the way the women would speak to each other would be on some shit like, okay, you know, he slapped you, but you know, that's life. That's your husband, you know, he love you. He'll smack the shit out of you from time to time. You know, that's what it is. And that's like a normal, regular conversation, you know what I'm saying? When I was growing up, my mom would say stuff like that. Like, not speaking from her personally, but she would say that's how older women used to talk. Like, if he don't beat you, he don't love you. You know what I'm saying? So people don't know. You don't know because the version of your grandfather, the version of your uncle, the version of even your dad, depending on how old you are. And sometimes you don't even get that relationship with some of these older people because they pass away when they're like 60, because they may pass away when you're young, you know what I'm saying? So you don't really get that experience. You don't really get to know them. Or even if you do, you're meeting a way different version of them. So we don't understand that the craziness that's in our parents came from them, because we looking at it like, damn, it can't be this nigga who's always giving me like $50 and buying me like cologne and shit, and he's like always giving me a ride and he's mad nice. It can't be this nigga. Like, he's damn near like a little angel or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or it can't be my grandfather because he has a good job, or he runs a business, or he's like a deacon or something, you know what I'm saying? So you're meeting that version of him. You don't know what he was like when he was 25, when he was 24. And same thing, you know, vice versa. I don't want to pin this on a particular gender. But we are coming from a culture of things like abuse being just everyday life. You know what I'm saying? Versus us even giving abuse a title as abuse and saying that it's like something that's bad. So the more you can recognize that, the more you can start to look at things that happened in your life and you start being like, hold up, Why was niggas doing that? Why was niggas allowing that? Even yo, okay, you gotta understand, niggas love to say things like we electromagnetic beings and stuff like that, but I don't think niggas ever just try to symbolize it to make it make sense. It's as simple as you could have the Disney movie family, like top to bottom, grandparents, uncles, all of that. Y'all niggas just some happy-go-lucky motherfuckers. But if your friend has it fucked up, because of our relationship with, like, you know, how we transfer energy to each other, it's like you gonna be, if y'all really rocking like that, it's like you be fucked up too. You know, your friend going through, it's like you going through it too. How does that work? It's because they might be telling you some sad news. You know what I'm saying? So it's like their negative energy right there. You know, it's not on purpose. Yeah, you're listening to them vent, but you could be around them and they're sad. It's like you're sad because they're sad. You know what I'm saying? So think about it in a basic way like that. And that also works for people who are going crazy and stuff. You know, you could pass on that energy too. Somebody could be in your building and they're angry, and then they give you a dirty look in the elevator. Now you mad at them, and then you go in the house and now you arguing with your girl because of the dirty look in the elevator. You know what I'm saying? It's like little dumb shit like that. That's how we be passing on, like, to try to make it make sense. That's how sometimes we be passing on energy. Of course we do it with thoughts and stuff like that as well, but I'm just trying to, you know, help make it make sense. Getting off track there. But what I'm trying to say is like, yo, when I was in middle school, you gotta understand, and I was like trying to get a girlfriend, you know, some puppy love shit. When I was in middle school trying to get a girlfriend, most times I was not competing with a nigga in middle school for this said girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? I'm competing with like a 17-year-old nigga, you know? But in those days, you 12, 11, 13, you know, that's like middle school ages, sometimes 14. So somewhere between 11 and 14, you in middle school, right? And when you those ages and you say you got like a 17-year-old girlfriend, regardless whether you're a man or a woman, you know, I mean a boy or girl, if you a boy doing that, then you like Drew from Everybody Hates Chris. Oh, this nigga's just one of them young little pretty boy, lover boy niggas, you know what I'm saying? Or like how Pootie Tang was, and how Pootie Tang had like a 40-year-old woman. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it'd be that drastic, but shit, it do. Actually, yeah, it do kind of be that drastic, which is what I'm kind of trying to get to. But yeah, so back in my time, that would just be normal. But imagine today, you seen a 17-year-old, 11-year-old, or you seen a 17-year-old with a 13-year-old, 14-year-old. Shit, some of these Gen Z niggas will be like, yo, you need to be dating a motherfucker your exact age. You know what I'm saying? That's how extreme they take it. But I'm just saying, imagine 17 and 12-year-old. You looking at it today like, what the fuck? Shit, imagine sometimes it'd be like a 13-year-old and like a 21-year-old nigga. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, damn. And then you get to high school, and you a high school, and you a young nigga. You know what I'm saying? You coming up. You know, you might have been a little champ in middle school, and in Maryland, champ is like, you know, you ain't all the way, you wasn't all the way put together like that, you know what I'm saying? But now you starting to get a little summer job, maybe you start hustling, whatever it might be, you start to get some sneakers, you know, all that, you know, you starting to get your shit together, you know what I'm saying? You a freshman, but you a fly freshman, you know what I'm saying? Every time you try to, and you be trying to talk to a shorty, and now you competing with some nigga in like a 2002 Acura TL, you know what I'm saying? Who pulls up after school and picks them up. And it's like, yo, don't nobody even have their license even old enough to drive here. Like, who is that? Like, you know what I'm saying? What are they even doing on school grounds? Like, you know, like, it'd be mad crazy shit, but sometimes you just may not be open to this shit being crazy because you're not ready to face that. You know, something that I experienced was like wrong. You know, I shouldn't have been experiencing that. But I'm just trying to say, like, we coming from a world where the age of consent in a lot of states is still 16. Like, if you'll be watching a documentary, you know what I'm saying? And in the documentary, that shit will fuck you up because it'll be like, yeah, when Billy Ray and Mary Lou got married, Billy Ray was in the tender age of 32, and Mary Lou just turned on her 14th birthday, and you'll be like, yo, pause that. Pause that. Run it back. Like, what? And it's like, yeah, that's just how niggas was living back then. You know, so I'm trying to paint, like, so, okay, imagine Mary Lou is your grandma. Imagine Mary Lou is your mom. You know what I'm saying? Imagine, you know, your grandfather, or, you know, and vice versa, in all these different crazy scenarios. Because, I don't want to attack one specific gender. But imagine all these crazy scenarios that if you start to denormalize them, imagine, you know what I'm saying? Imagine all the people using celebrities as an archetype. Like, look at that Lil Wayne video. And just imagine all the people you know who have that story. They talk about all the time online. Even if you don't comment, just peep and read some of the times how people will keep it a buck and tell you, yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yeah, I was 15 with a 40-year-old. Yeah, I was 19 with like a 50-year-old. You know what I'm saying? They'll keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, remember when you was 14, or go find a 14-year-old and just look at what they're into. Or, like, I can't even say that because they might be into some crazy shit. All right. I want you to understand that a 14-year-old, like, what they should be doing and what they, like, shouldn't be doing is we don't have a clear understanding of that. Like, have you ever seen that Dave Chappelle skit, like, how old is 15 really? You know what I'm saying? Like, that is something that you should go watch and try to gain an understanding of what I'm saying. Like, we be doing, when I was in middle school, by the time I got to like 8th grade, niggas is already having like the same type of kickbacks and shit that we was having in college. You know what I'm saying? And it's really be on some like Riley Freeman shit. Like, literally, it'd be like, even though he was 7 or 8, even though we 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, that's still not that far off. You know what I'm saying? Especially in your development. And then if you're not developing properly due to poor parenting or a harmful environment, you know, then that makes it even worse. So now you're like a 20-year-old out in the world, supposed to be an adult, but you have like child like development in your mind and you're trying to maneuver. You know what I'm saying? So it's important that we recognize where we're coming from. It's important we understand that, like, depending on what country your parents come from, they could have been going to school and like nuns was beating the shit out of them. You know what I'm saying? And when you start to get into our ancestry, you gotta, I gotta save that. That's another one coming, but we're coming from like that. We're coming from like, you know, a woman talk, like how you see they treat women in the Middle East and stuff. We are not too far removed from like a living ancestor treating his wife like that. You know what I'm saying? Some of the stories that now I'm getting older and my aunts and stuff is telling me, like even some of the stuff I'm seeing, like my cousins and stuff experience like right now, you know, we're coming from generations of shit like that. Regardless of where we want to say the origins are, you know, that's something that's up to debate. We're coming from generations of crazy shit. And we be saying like, yo, these now time relationships, everybody just be cheating on each other. Nigga, are you like, yo, y'all are like so naive. Like, y'all really like babies, like little kids. It be grown ass people saying shit like this. You think niggas is just now cheating on each other? The drug dealer, the big drug dealer that you know, don't even make money like how niggas was getting back in the day. You just have it in your mind that we so broke. And when I mean by that, I'm not even talking about the drug dealers. I'm talking about niggas who was owning their own business and just doing all different types of things to make money. You know, we don't have the money that our forefathers had. You know, some of us make more. This isn't black and white, but I'm just saying, like, our grandfathers and them had access to way more money. And because there wasn't Cash App and all this shit, you can keep money under your mattress and all of that, where they could avoid paying certain type of taxes, they could hold on to their money a lot better too. You could be working all under the table for a nigga, and even if he's paying you a little less, because you're not taking taxes and shit and you're just paying for everything in cash, you could be finessing, and then you could be going home and selling like bootleg DVDs or burned CDs on the side, and niggas making like an extra couple thousand like with that and living good. You know what I'm saying? And living good. I'm saying that to say like when I remember my uncles and their friends and them having like separate apartments to cheat. There's not even a lot of niggas that make enough money to do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Most like don't let a lot of people do have that kind of money, but I'm telling you, like I feel like only older people gonna really understand what I mean. Like niggas just not doing it like how niggas was. Look at some of these pages on Instagram where it's like one of them is Mechapocalypse. You know what I'm saying? Look at the chains and shit that these niggas got. Yes, gold was cheaper, but still look at the chains and shit that these niggas got. Look at the fashion, the cars and shit. That shit don't got no lease. They had to buy that in cash. Look at how them niggas was living. You know what I'm saying? Really living the lyrics of our favorite songs and stuff, you know. So we don't even have the money and stuff to do what some of the niggas was do, like what some of our aunts and uncles and parents and stuff was doing. I used to, you be in the barbershop and you hear stories of a nigga who just like, yeah man, just found a girl in Trinidad and I just flew for her to come up here, man. And her and her son is living with me. Nigga ain't never met her, never seen no pictures of her, none of that. So now today you like, yo, I don't understand how two people will meet off of Twitter. You don't even know that niggas used to meet over the phone, like Smokey and the shit with Friday, and end up somehow starting a family. You know what I'm saying? Niggas only getting married for the green card. You know what I'm saying? You thinking shit is superficial today. It's always been like this. Nothing has changed. You know what I'm saying? If anything, it was worse. And you need to understand that because you start to be like, hold up, I can start to see where maybe my family problems come from. Because if we are one of the niggas who's living in like the Mary Lou situation, like, you know what I'm saying, you start looking up records, or even you start doing age differences, you're like, damn, auntie such and such, her husband died, like, that nigga was old as shit, low key. Like, why is he 45 years older than her? Like, why is he 90 plus and she's only like 68? Like, what was like up with that? Because I mean, they was both grown, but like you said, they was married for like 20 something years, 28, 29. And you know, I ain't the best with math, but I'm trying to say like how old was she? Because this age gap is low-key crazy, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, was she like 16, 17? You know what I'm saying? You start finding relatives, you know, and you start doing the age gap. So you saying that uncle such and such was 32 and auntie was 16, and you start thinking about that, you start saying, wow, if I saw that in the street right now, I would think like, let's arrest that nigga. You know what I'm saying? And then you start thinking, wow, for all the negative reasons why I might think, let's arrest that nigga, if I added in, because of, you know, why you would think that's bad, if I added in children and stuff like that to the mix, if I added in like financial problems, if I added in substance abuse potentially, if I add all that stuff to the mix, then it's like, wow, that is starting to add up. It's starting to make sense. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm starting to get to the root of where our craziness is coming from. You know, we think booty shaking just started with Cardi B and Nicki Minaj for some reason. You know what I'm saying? I guess niggas don't even know about Uncle Luke and them. You know, we don't know that Pop That is just a remake. You know what I'm saying? We think people. I'm not saying it's not marketed to the extreme right now, but then again, when I was a kid, I feel like I was just seeing Little Kim and them marketed the same way. So it's like, I feel like it's the same character, it's the same script with just new characters. So it's like when niggas be like, oh, it's to the extreme, I'm like, I don't know. You don't think Uncle Luke interviewing people and motherfuckers having like sex right next to the niggas they was interviewing was extreme? You know what I'm saying? Like like think about it. Like, okay, I'm just trying to help to put reality in perspective. Like, niggas think, okay, porn is like pushed in your face everywhere today. You know what I'm saying? But back in the day, like the world was so religious that stuff like that was like hidden. Like you had to go find it. Like people look down on you. You could be shunned from the community. Like when niggas talk about being in the community, shit like that could have you shunned from the community. You know what I'm saying? Like you had back in the day, you had to go look for that kind of stuff. That's probably why I can't say for sure because I wasn't around, but that's probably why Playboy and stuff like that's so big. So, but you got to remember, stuff like that used to cost. Magazines and shit wasn't cheap. VHSs and home videos and shit and DVDs and shit, them shits wasn't cheap. And I feel like if you should remember that your uncles and dads and them niggas probably had like big collections of these. But for some reason, niggas think like, or are under the impression that like this shit just started last week. Like this shit just started today. Like, no, we don't do half the crazy shit. We're trying to fix. We are waking up to seeing like, wait a minute, hold up, they have us flipped all inside out, and we're trying to like put the pieces back together. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to fix things. We're trying to make it right again. And one of the ways you can start to do that in yourself is to just recognize these things are crazy. Because once you do that, then you can be like, oh, okay, I start to see where this and this comes from. You know what I'm saying? As long as you think it's normal, it's just gonna be pushed to the back of your mind, just like anything else. Just like eating a bowl of cereal. If you saw a nigga eating a bowl of cereal on the street, it would just be pushed to the back of your mind. You know what I'm saying? Because that's normal to you. Well, not on the street, but you know what I mean. Like if you were watching TV and a nigga was eating commercial, okay, whatever. If you just see your friend eating a bowl of cereal, if you seen your friend eating a bowl of cereal, and he was, and that's what he was having for breakfast, you would be like, okay, that's normal, that's cool. Your brain, nothing would trip out. But if you seen that nigga having pennies for breakfast, you would be like, what the fuck? And that would throw you off. It would be like, is this a glitch? Or whatever, like, what the fuck is wrong with this nigga? So, when you can start realizing that some of these things are like the pennies for breakfast, then you can start to have that what the fuck moment. And then you can start, like, you'll really start to be like, a 17-year-old pulling up on an 11-year-old. It's kind of nuts. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? When you can start recognizing that, like just you saying that 14-year-old boy in class, like on that viral video smoking a blunt, he shouldn't be doing that because he's 14. You saying that's crazy? You know what I'm saying? Like you can start to look at all these things and put them in a proper perspective. You can start to you can start to see how bad things really were, to see how okay, I'm trying to find the right words here, but you have to stop thinking that we're in some sort of fairy tale where things are just now getting bad. You know what I'm saying? Niggas like recycling just became no. You have to stop thinking that we're in a fairy tale where things are just now getting bad. This is why you can't get to the root of your problem. This is why you think the root of your problem is drinking, and the root of your problem is smoking weed and watching porn. Yeah, because you think that you're a part of some generation that's like sexed out, and so watching porn is the reason why you lose focus. You know what I'm saying? You follow these narratives when that's the effect of the reason why your life is messed up. The cause is something else. The cause of whatever it is something that you normalized. It's something that's normalized, and that probably has you that. But even though it's normalized, okay, it's something that's normalized. But even though it's normalized, you internally, you know how damaging it was. So you've pushed it to the back of your mind. So it's like an unconscious thought. You know what I'm saying? So our unconscious thoughts are our actions, you know? So the things that we just naturally do, the things that you do, like, and you don't even realize why you're doing it, those are your unconscious thoughts. So somewhere in your unconscious thought is something that is causing you to have negative behaviors that is holding you back in life. You know what I'm saying? So the purpose of your shadow work is to get to that unconscious thought. It's going to be hard because you think a lot of these things are normal. When you can start to say it's not normal, you can start remembering. Because I'm telling you, some of the things that have you like in a Honda, okay, some of the things that have you in like a Civic when you could be in like a Benz, and not in a, I'm just using that as an example, not to say you should chase after materials, just people what I'm saying. The difference between you being in a Civic and in a Benz can be you starting to remember like what happened, like what used to happen at the Boys and Girls Club, or like what used to happen at like at your after school or whatever, at your after school program, or like what used to happen when you used to go to a certain person's house, because it might have happened to like everyone you knew, because it might have happened to so many people, because it happened to so many generations of family members. Whatever this thing might be, you know, it could just be getting yelled at, it could be getting slapped around, it could be getting sexually assaulted, whatever it might be, because these things are so common. We are not getting to the root of why we have these negative behaviors. We can't sit and ask ourselves, because we are just going to skip past the idea that you may be going a little crazy right now at age 28. If you was like one of the niggas who was 13, like having orgies on a half a day, you know what I'm saying? If you was running like 2 and 3 man missions, or like, no, I'm sorry, whoa, those numbers are way too low. If you were running like 12 man missions with like 2 girls, sometimes 1 girl, you gotta be open to, if you was doing that a lot from like 13 to maybe, and you just, you know, slowly tone it down a little bit, little by little, by the time you get to college. If you was doing that from then to now, you gotta be open to understanding that for whatever reason, to have you doing that, because you gotta understand, like, being the 9th man is insane. Being the 9th man while you 13 in like the 12 man train on a half a day is insane. You may not believe me. You might think that's just some man shit, but it results in your actions today and why you're not where you want to be. You think you're not where you want to be because of white supremacy or something, but I'm telling you, you're not where you want to be because of this normalized behavior. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this shit, I'm not a judgmental person. You know, I'm not one of these niggas who have the mindset like you're supposed to be living like a monk and shit. But a lot of this shit, I'm not gonna lie, we could have waited until we was 18 or even 21 or whatever. Because I'm just realizing, like, when you start to put it in the proper perspective, you'll be watching a movie. And you'll be like, yo, why is this 40-year-old nigga chasing after this little teenager in the whole movie? You know what I'm saying? You'll be like, yo, why is he doing that? It's just so strange. Why didn't the writers of the movie just make the girl like, I don't know, 22, 23, 24, 25? She still would have been pretty young. He still could have chased after her. They could have had the same exact dynamics, but he made the character like 16. You know, that's very strange. You may not look at it as strange. Why? Because you may come from a world where there's like 45-year-old niggas messing with 16-year-olds. So in your world, that's not strange. But once you make it strange, you'll start to see that it's strange everywhere that it's appearing. You can start to get to the root of your problems. You can start to say, okay, son, I remember going to the Boys and Girls Club, right? And now I'm kind of considering that neglect. I ain't gonna lie, because I remember working for the Boys and Girls Club, and I was the only nigga in there that was attentive. Like, a kid would be getting ready to jump off a bookshelf, and niggas just in there on their phone. And we think that we are a part of a generation is doing that for the first time. So we think like, oh, because we got phones and shit, that if this was when I was going to the Boys and Girls Club, nobody would have been on their phone. When that's quite the Quan shit. Wait, when that's quite wrong. Whatever we was doing, I started to realize that was the same shit that them niggas was doing. And that's why you be there and then you hear like a nigga broke his arm, or a nigga fell down the stairs, or two niggas was begging for mad long and nobody was able to break it up. Because the nigga watching you is like 16. But why, like, you know, maybe a 16-year-old really shouldn't be in charge of watching like 30 kids at one time. Shit, maybe a 19-year-old shouldn't be in charge of watching 30 kids at one time. You know what I'm saying? Would you leave your kid with the average 19-year-old? You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of qualifications does it take to work here? You know what I'm saying? Think about, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like a lot of people shouldn't have been left around kids. That's just kind of how I'm feeling. Like, now that I'm, you know, realizing a lot of things is not natural. Things that I used to see, you know, back then. You seeing just shit happen. I'm not even talking about with myself. When you start to denormalize it, you start to realize all the shit that was happening with other people. That's why you wouldn't even want to take on nobody's problems. For real, for real. You be thinking you have it bad. Nigga, I remember one of my niggas in school. We was sitting at the lunch table and he was telling me a story about how his mom tried to shoot him when he snuck out of his foster home to go see her. And because she's crazy, she tried to shoot him. You know what I'm saying? So niggas be living through all types of shit. You be thinking you got it bad, but your mama ain't never tried to shoot you, nigga. Multiple times. You know what I'm saying? So when niggas be living stories like that, and it's so common, I just feel like, and it's so common, we just start to think it's normal. And once we denormalize it, we can begin to get to the root of your behavior. Because religion has been teaching you the reason why your life is fucked up is because you got tattoos. And not that you've been having crazy negative experiences. Or like the reason why your life is fucked up is because, you know, the reason why your life is fucked up is because you rather like make art or something than go to work. No, maybe the reason why you don't make money from your art is because you don't believe in it, because people your whole life has been programming you not to believe it, you know? So that's not why you're fucked up. It's just because you just may not have the proper mindset. Just using that as an example. But got you believing you dressing half naked is like why your life is fucked up or something. Like that's how they be talking. Like it really isn't like your deep rooted trauma is from you being on your phone. You know what I'm saying? And because we're a part of some like bad generation, you know, you could get that shit out your mind, my nigga. At the very least, we coming out of like the Crusades and shit. Like niggas love romanticizing, but look at that word, romanticizing. Roman. Do you know what was going on during those times? Like, at the very least, we coming out of those times. But the times that we coming out of in our family are just as crazy. They're not on the level of like chopping a nigga's head off and stuff, but shit, sometimes they are. I'm not gonna lie. Like some of these stories, when your grandma telling you like, yo, I don't talk back. I don't know why you kids think you can talk back. Because when I was a kid, if you talk back, my dad would just grab the shovel and smack you in the face. I remember when he smacked me in the face when I was pregnant. And it would be like, it's like, do you want a hug from that? Like shit, that shit got me about to cry. Like, yo, what? Like this nigga. And it's like, yeah, because you don't talk back to your parents. It's like, so you kids are lucky. Like my family will always be saying stuff like that to me. It'd be like, yo, you kids are lucky because when it was me, you would get beatings from the nuns, and then you would go home and your parents would beat you with the switch, and it's just like, and then you hearing that they just beating you for like almost nothing. It's like, oh, you went too far up the street, or like you walked in and didn't say good evening or whatever. You just getting the shit beat out of you, or you just almost getting like you getting beat because you fried 3 eggs instead of 2. And that's not really why you're getting beat. I feel like they should be having mad pressure on them and stuff. Or I don't even know why. Some people just be miserable. I remember being in the house and it's like you will be having fun. I feel like this is why I'm programmed to not have fun. See, this is how, see how I'm having a realization on camera? This is how it works. When you realize that you're supposed to be a happy-go-lucky kid, and that's how kids are supposed to be, anytime that you're not happy-go-lucky in your memories, you start to ask why. Because you understand that you're supposed to be a happy-go-lucky kid. And I remember, and I feel like this shit was programming me to just pretend or just put yourself in a space and not seeming happy. Because anytime you used to see happy around certain older people, it's like them niggas used to be upset. Like we could be in the room playing the game and they'd be like, yo, what y'all in there doing? Like I just hear laughing. Like, is that joy coming from that room? Yo, whatever y'all doing in there, turn it off. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like you just sitting in there, and it's like, all right, yo, we kids, we got imagination. Yo, we just start talking. You know what I'm saying? Or we might have our cards or something. We might have our Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and then we start busting that down. And niggas is like, yo, what? Am I still hearing joy in that room? Yo, give me them cards. And it's like, damn. All right. Now we just in there talking like, yo, what would you do if you was a nigga in Dragon Ball Z? Yo, first thing I would do is fly. And then niggas call you back into their room again, and it's like, yo, are y'all niggas in there using y'all imagination? Damn, I can't take that from y'all. Yo, just turn off the light and go to bed. And it's like, yo, it's 7 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock, and now that I realize it, I'm like, yo, some of us was really living like Matilda. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think we peeped that, and I don't know why that was happening to us, but that shit was fucking happening. You know, I don't know if it's the like, you know, maybe if your dad hit you in the face with a shovel, maybe you'll have a slight aggression to men, or maybe you'll just be angry, period, or maybe we're the reincarnation of that said nigga, and you see us and psychologically you get back at us in some way that you make, when you're getting at us, it makes you feel like you're getting at him because we look like him. I don't know what it is, but you start to realize that treatment is crazy, and then you start to see like, okay, if that is crazy, then that shouldn't have been happening. So I'm not supposed to, like that behavior that it's caused. It started programming us to just be grumpy, be angry, because it's like anytime you was happy, somebody was mad that you was happy. So just start programming you to be angry, you know, start to be miserable just like them. So when I realized that, I have that realization, I can stop. I could say, you know what? It's not going to happen overnight, but I could be like, you know what? I got to learn to enjoy things because I've been being programmed to be angry. I've been being programmed to not look happy, to not be excited, to not go out and do things. You know what I'm saying? For a while, like, yo, when I was a kid, one of the things I was known for was putting that shit on. You know what I'm saying? That was one of the things I was known for as a kid. And as I started to get older, you know, aside from like parents not making as much money, when I started making my own money, I stopped collecting clothes and stuff because it would be like my family was pocket watching, and that shit would be crazy. It's like, you just buying sneakers again, huh? And it's like, what else do you do when you like 16, 17, 18, 19? Like yes, invest your money, blah blah blah, whatever, but nigga, you 16, like, I don't know, it's like, what else? Especially back then, like, let's be realistic, niggas wasn't talking like that. 444 ain't come out yet. So yeah, what else would you do? Like, okay, niggas is you cop a certain jacket. It's like, oh, niggas is wearing North Faces. Niggas got money. I'm not. That's not how they talk, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, oh, niggas got money. Oh, niggas better start giving me money. Oh, niggas making money in here. That's kind of how I felt like it was, like on some gangster shit, like pockets is just being watched. Like, oh, niggas get money, but they ain't giving me none. You know what I'm saying? They need to bust that down. So after a while, I start like, yo, I don't even like copping clothes no more. I already didn't like copping clothes because niggas in the hood be trying to rob you and shit, and niggas in the hood be hating on you. But damn, now I'm getting this hate in the house. I'm just getting hate everywhere. It's like I might as well just wear some J.C. Penney shit. You know what I'm saying? Just keep that negative energy away from me. So you see, again, now I'm programmed to not want to have nice things. Now I'm programmed to not want to buy nice clothes or whatever. Not saying that I need to do that, but I'm just saying that's an example of how you could be programmed by this normalized behavior. You think you're supposed to be living in a house where niggas is pocket watching you. You know what I'm saying? Whole time, I just seen a tweet earlier. It was like, niggas in other cultures will be living together. All them niggas driving a Benz, 800 credit score. You know what I'm saying? Living good. And when you living with your parents, them niggas is pocket watching, trying to force you to pay, trying to force you to give them money and shit, making your life difficult, hating on the fact that you happy. I don't know what the fuck be going on. I was getting my hair done the other day. This shit is crazy. This is how older people talk about us. They don't like to see us happy. That shit is crazy. She was like, this woman was like, yo, my niece can't live with me no more. You know what I'm saying? She can't live with me no more because her time to run up. You know what I'm saying? She getting real cute. She keep buying all these bags and stuff. She need to find somewhere to stay. She just having too much fun. And I'm just like, and then the other woman was like, yo, why was she living with you again? It's like, oh, her parents was treating her real rough. They was abusing her and stuff. And it's like, I don't know if I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm open to being crazy. I'm always open to someone coming in and educating me because I don't want to be a know-it-all. And I don't look at myself as a know-it-all. But if I took somebody in with the intentions of like shielding you and trying to give you a better life than what you had before, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would I be mad that instead of being stuck in the house and being verbally and possibly physically abused, you're like on vacation and smiling and having a good time? Like, why would I be mad? And that's the type of shit these people be beefing with us about. Like, has anyone ever noticed that? How does that program you to be? How does that program you to feel? You know what I'm saying? Where every time you're trying to live your life or do something, it's like somebody ain't supporting you. But then nobody ain't supporting you with your dreams and shit either. They tearing those down. So it's like, how does that program you to be? All these things niggas gotta denormalize. You know what I'm saying? And this ain't even to make our parents super bad guys or whatever. But this is just to present the fact that this is the issue at hand. You know what I'm saying? You thinking cheating starting today. Niggas do not. I guess niggas missed all the stories about your grandfather and the house down the street. And then people that you going to school with being your cousin and you not even aware of. I guess y'all missed them stories and shit. Like, niggas must have shielded y'all. Yeah, you don't even know what the fuck really be going on out here. I don't know. Niggas be saying nowadays. Did you not listen to Brenda's Got a Baby? What do you mean nowadays? It don't get no. Nowadays, we coming from a time where, like, I remember being a kid and niggas just broke into your car. Like, I remember being a kid and I don't know, all the things that we were doing were just wild. So, like, when I say you're not fighting white supremacy, that's what you're fighting. I'm not saying that other thing doesn't exist. What I'm saying is, like, you're aware that it exists. And you take, or should be taking, preventative measures to, like, do something about that. Because you're aware that it exists. you are unaware that this behavior is abnormal. So this is a problem for you that you are still unaware exists. But it is a problem nonetheless. I don't mean to be talking like that. I don't know where that accent came from, but yes, it is a problem nonetheless. And I'm talking slow like that because I really want niggas to understand. Like, this is the difference of you getting to where you want to be. Why are you, like, listen to what I was saying about, like, being programmed to not be happy, being programmed to, like, not want to cop new stuff and not want to go places and do stuff like that because niggas is always hating on you. How are you going to run a successful, how could I have ever run a successful business with them type of mindsets? How could I have, like, gotten anywhere? You know what I'm saying? And shit, that's a major thing, but that's still some surface level issues compared to some of the other shit niggas have to deal with. Some of the other shit you witnessing. Even when it don't happen to you, if you seeing it happen to your cousin, if you at your cousin's house and you watching her get the shit beat out of her for some dumb shit, you know what I'm saying? For not washing the dishes, and they are beating the shit out of her, that affect you too. You know what I'm saying? Because you still witnessing something that's not normal. So later on in life, if somebody is telling you a story of getting beat up or getting abused physically, it's like you kind of might shrug it off because in your mind you think that's normal. Oh, because you're thinking like, yo, well, my cousin was getting the shit beat out of her because she ain't wash the dishes. Well, shit, I guess that's just what happens to people. No. And even when you do think like that, that's when it goes to your subconscious, starts coming out in your actions. Your subconscious also helps you manifest and is what you manifesting. So if something like that is in your subconscious, imagine what you manifesting. And this is what we have to acknowledge. You got to be open to acknowledging it. You got to be this universe works in the give and take. You know what I'm saying? You give up the idea that maybe you was a player and that being like 15 with like a 22-year-old is crazy. You know what I'm saying? If you want to hold on to the idea that you was like a player, then you can never open up to the fact that it's crazy and you can't heal from it. So it'll still affect you in a non-positive manner, you know? And it'll play a trick on your mind that you was a player. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of where I want to wrap this video, because I feel like I'm just going on and on. But I really do hope with positive intentions that niggas can understand what I'm trying to say. Like, in order to get to the root of our problems, you need to give up saying shit like we're the worst generation or things are getting crazy now and stupid shit like that. Stop saying that. Man, I don't know where to start. We think we just started getting gangster now. We thinking we just getting into gangster shit and stuff now with NWA in the 80s and shit. We just don't know our history or nothing. Not our recent history, not our ancient history, not what was happening in our parents' lives, nothing. And I don't know, if you want to get to the root of your problem, you're going to have to be open to, these things being problems. So that's it.